Hey guys, welcome back to another one. So in this video, we'll be doing a complete walkthrough for the Paper 1 Maths Arithmetic test. And this is from the Key Stage 2 SATS. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to go straight in. Now, be warned, yeah, and like always, this test is only 30 minutes. So when I'm doing this, I'll be going through everything step by step. But when you actually do it, you're going to be doing it a lot faster than I am. And for every question, as I'm going through it, if you already know how to do it, try and do it before I do it, okay? So, let's jump straight in then, yeah? Okay, number one. So, something equals 6,000 plus 90. So, when you're adding, we always lay it out like this. So, put down the numbers in order, so starting from the thousands, hundreds, tens, and units, put the 90 below it in the correct positions, put a plus sign, and then add downwards. So, when we add, always start from the far right column. So it'll be 0 plus 0 is nothing, nothing plus 9 is 9, 0 plus nothing is 0, and then 6 plus nothing is 6. And that's your answer, guys, 6,090. So that's how I'm going to be doing it. If you guys already know the answers, just go straight ahead and just try and skip the video to see what the answers are. Okay, number 2, 8,275 plus 82. So same steps, guys. Put the numbers in the correct position. So 8275, and then 82 goes in the tens and the units. And then put a plus here, and now add downwards. So we're gonna have 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 8 is gonna be 15, and then you're gonna carry the 1, so 1 and 5. And then you're gonna have 1 plus 2 is 3, and 8 plus nothing is 8. And that's your answer, guys. 8,357. Okay, number 3. So it's telling us now to partition. So this is an example of splitting the numbers. So they said 826 can be written as 820. So hear that word, 6. Done. Number 4. Something plus 5 gives you 341. Well, you just have to do the reverse. So if you're gonna add a number to 5, if you're gonna work out what the original number was, you would have to subtract 5 from the answer. So we're gonna do 341 minus 5. Again, if you guys know the answer, mentally do it. For everybody else, it's best to do it like that. So for this kind of situation, when you subtract, you can only subtract properly if the number on the top is bigger than the number underneath. So 1 take away 5 you can't do, so you need to borrow from the neighbor. So you borrow 1 from the 4, it becomes a 3. Pass the 1 here and it becomes an 11. So now we have 11 take away 5 is 6. 3 take away nothing is 3, and then 3 take away nothing is 3, and that's it, 336. Now number 5, 9 times 41. All right, so once again using the simple method, so we're going to write 41 times 9. Now to do this one, do it step by step. So we just have to do 9 times 1, which is 9, and then 9 times 4, which is 36. Yep, and that's it, 369. Okay, 6. So we got 5.87 plus 3.123, all right? So with these kind of questions, when you got a decimal point, the aim is to line up the decimal point first. So let's go ahead and put the decimal points here, yeah? So on the first number, we got 5.87, and the second one, we got 3.123. Now notice how you got a little gap at the top. Every time you got gaps, just fill up with a 0. And then you just do the same as you would. And plussing, again, start from the right side and add across. So we're going to do 0 plus 3 is 3, 7 plus 2 is 9, 8 plus 1 is 9, point, oh yeah, when you add them up, you just put point. 5 plus 3 is 8, and that's it, 8.993. So they want us to work out 180 divided by 3. Okay, there's a nice, beautiful trick which you guys can learn right now. The trick is that every time you go 0, just ignore it for a second, yeah? So we're going to be looking at this number as if it was 18 into 3. Now to do division, the idea is to work out how many times a 3 fits into 18. So if you know your 3 times table, you'll get it. So just counting the 3s, we're going to have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And you realize that to get 18, you need to count 3s 6 times. So in other words, 18 divided by 3 is 6. And because you got 0, 60. And that's your answer. And then likewise for the next one, 120 divided by 12. Just cover up the 0. 12 divided by 12 is 1, and then stick the 0 in, 10. So it'll be 10. This only works if you got zeros at the end, yeah? Otherwise, you're going to see how we do the regular division method. Okay, number 9. Anything times 0 is 0. Done. So for this question, we're going to now use the short division or bus stop method. So the way this works, you always take this term over here, the divide by 7, outside the bus stop and put 91 inside. Okay? And the trick is you ask yourself, how many times does 7 fit into 9? Well, if you count in 7s, well, it can only go in once. And you'll realize that you're going to have a difference of 2, the remainder of 2. So you carry it there. And then we ask ourselves, how many times does 7 fit into 21? Well, doing our 7 times table, we know it's 3 because it's 7, 14, then 21. So clearly it fits 3 times. That means the answer is going to be 13. Done. Okay, number 11. So something equals 87 minus 65. This is easy. So this is, again, the column method. So 87 and 65. Put a subtraction sign and then subtract. So now we've got 7 minus 5. If you subtract it, you should get 2 left over. 8 take away 6 is also 2. So this is 22. Okay, very easy. Now next one, 602 minus something gives us 594. So to work this out, just like the previous example we saw, to work out the number between, we need to subtract these two values from each other. So it'll be 602, the bigger number, minus the smaller number. And now minusing this is not that obvious, because the problem is you'll realize that you have small numbers on top. So let's just do it step by step. So starting from the right side, it says 2 take away 4 you can't do, so you need to borrow from his neighbor, but you can't borrow nothing from 0, so then you borrow from the next one, 6. So borrow from 6, that reduces to 5, and you give the next number a 1, that becomes a 10. Borrow from the 10, that becomes a 9, and give the 1 to 2. So this is now 12. So we got 12 take away 4 is going to give us 8. 9 take away 9 is nothing. 5 take away 5 is also nothing. So the final answer is literally just 8. So just like the previous ones, you're going to do another division with a 0. So as always, cover up the 0, and then we ask ourselves, what is 121 divided by 11? Now, if you know your 11 times table, you'll realize that 11 times 11 is 121. So that means 121 divides 11 by 11 times. And now, because we have a 0, we just put it back in. And that's your answer, 110. Now, number 14. So we've got 25.34 times 10. Okay, these questions are easy. When you get these kind of questions, you can't get it wrong. When you're multiplying by tens or hundreds, you literally just move the decimal place by the number of zeros you see. So times it by 10, you got 1 0, so move this decimal place 1 time across. So then this will end up here. So it'll be 253.4. So the answer is 253.4. Easy. Okay, number 15. So now we need to work out 60 divided by 30 minus 24, all wrapped up in a bracket. Alright, for these kind of questions, every time you see a bracket, we need to straight away think about BIDMAS. Or you might call it BODMAS. So it doesn't matter really which one you call it. The point is, you got brackets involved, so we always do that first. Now, to work this out, 30 take away 24 is easy. That's just going to give us 6. So we're left with 60 divided by 6. And this is also easy. This is telling us how many times does 6 fit into 60. And if you know your 6 times tables, you'll realize that 6 times 10 will give us 60. And that's it. Okay, 16. 3 to the power 3. Now this little 3 at the top tells us how many times we multiply the number by itself. Because this is a 3, it will literally look like 3 times 3 times 3. And we just work this out step by step. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then this is going to be 9 times 3 left. 9 times 3 is 27. And that's your answer, guys. 3 to the power 3, or 3 cubed, is 27. Question 17. 101 times 1,000. Now, if you remember previously, the other question, we had a decimal place. When you have whole numbers and you're multiplying by stuff like 10, hundreds, thousands, we just stick the number zeros in front of the number. So 101 times 1,000, which has 3 zeros, would be the same number with 3 zeros. And that's it. Done. 18. Find 20% of 3,000. Okay, this is another simple one. The trick here, yeah, and this would probably be better for you guys, is to always work out what 10% of a number is, of anything. The reason why is because 10% literally is the same as dividing by 10. And no, guys, 20% does not mean dividing by 20. This is just a special case for 10%. Now, to find 10% of 3,000, if you can divide this number by 10, you just cross out a 0, so you'll be left with 300. And now to find 20%, you'll realize that 20% is double 10%. So if you double 300, you're going to get 600. And that's it. That's the question solved. 7 is the same as 7 point, and because we've got 2 digits, 0.00. Remember, this is the same as a whole 7. And now we're going to minus that from 2.25. And then you just do what we always do. So once again, because the top number is smaller than the bottom number, you can't subtract them. So you need to borrow from the first number that's bigger, like a 7. So borrow from the 7, that breaks down to a 6. Give the next number a 1, that becomes a 10. Borrow from 10, it becomes a 9, and give this one a 1. So now we're going to basically do 10 take away 5, which is 5. 9 take away 2 is 7. And 6 take away 2 is 4. So we've got 4.75. Alright, number 20. 0.9 divided by 100. Okay, just like the previous one, when you multiply by 100, you move the decimal place 2 places to the right. If you divide now by 100, you move it 2 places to the left. So you bring the number smaller. So if you just imagine there was an extra 0 here, this would be a point, and then you move it one more time and another 0, your number is going to look something like 0.009. So that's going to be your final result. Okay, not much to say there. By the way, guys, if you understood everything so far, please give me a like. But if you want me to explain anything in further details, just drop me a comment and I'll try my best to answer you as soon as I can. Alright, 21. 9 minus 1.9. So just like the other question, line up the whole numbers, so 9 and 1, and copy out a decimal, 0.9. And because it's missing a decimal, just stick in and put a blank, replace a blank with a 0. Now, subtracting these two, which is very straightforward, you can't do 0 take away 9, so you borrow from the next number. You borrow from the 9, and this goes down to 8. Give it the 1 you took, and then finally you got 10 take away 9 is 1, 8 take away 1 is 7. So the answer is 7.1. Alright, fractions. Finally, something different. So we have here the mixed number, because you got a whole number and a fraction, minus another fraction. Always combine the mixed part into something known as an improper. So make it into a single fraction. To do that, 1 3/7, there's a nice trick. We can use the whole number, multiply it to the bottom, so it'll be 1 times 7, and then add it to the top. So 1 times 7 plus 3, which is 10. So 10 over 7 minus 4 over 7. And now in this case, we just subtract the top halves. So 10 take away 4 is a 6, and your answer is 6 over 7. That's it. Alright guys, number 23. So we have 836 times 27. Now to do this easily, we can just go ahead and use the column method as they provide. So what we do is that we only focus on one of these digits, either 2 or 7 first. For now, we're going to focus on the 7, yeah? And we're going to multiply all of these guys by 7. So let's do it. So first things first, we're going to do 7 times 6. That should give us 42. So we put 2 here and then carry the 4. Next, we do 7 times 3, which is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So 5 and carry the 2. And lastly, we do 7 times 8. And that should give us 56. And you add 2 more, will be 58. Because there's no more digits, we just write 58 here. Now, after you deal with the 7, what I usually do is I always cross digits out. So I've done this now. And because we moved one place to the left, we're going to also move one place to the left here. So this will be blanked out. Now, next part. So now we're going to multiply 2 by every digit there. So we're going to do, firstly, 2 times 6, which is 12. So 2, carry the 1. Now, 2 times 3 is 6. Add 1 is 7. And finally, 2 times 6 is 16. Now, guys, all you want to do here is just add everything up. And by the way, guys, yeah, this little blank here can literally be replaced with a 0, yeah? So if you wanted to, you could just put a nice 0 there. So, adding all this up, we're going to do 2 plus nothing is 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. 8 plus 7 is 15, so 5 carry the 1. Let's put 1 up here. So 1 plus 5 is 6. Add another 6 is 12. Carry the 1. And finally, 1 plus 1 is 2. That's it, guys. So your final answer is 22,572. Okay. Okay, guys, number 24. So here they want us to add up 1 over 5 plus 3 over 4. Now to do this, we need to firstly make sure that both fractions have common denominators. In other words, the bottom part has to be the same value. Now the easy trick is to basically look at the left fraction and multiply what it doesn't have from the right. Well, it doesn't have a 4, so we can just multiply all this fraction by 4. And on this side, this has a 4, so we can just multiply this fraction by 5. And we do so, they both can be over 20. Now that's good. Now, because you multiply the left fraction by 4, this means 1 times 4 is 4. And on the right side, 5 times 3 is 15. And lastly, 4 plus 15 is 19 over 20. Yep. Okay, next question. So here we got 888 divided by 37. Now we need to ask ourselves, how many times does 37 go into this number? Well, a trick is to firstly just check. So let's see how many times 37 goes into 8. Well, it can't do because it's bigger, so it's nothing. So when it doesn't go into it, you carry the next number across. So now we have 37 into 88. Well, to figure this out, we need to know our 37 times tables. So what I usually do on the side, I just keep going up in 37s, yeah? So if you keep adding 37, so if you add another 37, you should have something like 37, 67, 74. Add another 37, you're going to get, let's see, add 37 to this, you're going to have 1, carry the 1, 111. Okay, so looking at this, we can see that 37 goes into 88 twice, because it goes once, twice, but it's not big in this. So 2 times, and then let's see how much we need to go from 74 to get to 88. Well, 88 take away 74 gives us 14. So it goes in, so you get a remainder of 14. Now, how many times does 37 go into 148? Well, let's add another 37 to this number, yeah? So you add another 37, you actually get 148. So actually it goes into it 4 times perfectly and with no remainders. So therefore the answer is 24. Number 26. So now they want us to add 1 1/5 plus 2 1/10. So just like the other question, in this case we need to have common denominators. So what I usually do is just ignore the whole numbers here, yeah? So we can say straight away that 1 plus 2 is 3. Now to make both of these have common denominators, we can just look at a 5. And we can just realize that if we times the 5 part by 2, this fraction by 2 is going to be over 10. And this fraction now becomes 2 over 10. And now adding up the fractions, 2/10 and the one over here, which is 1/10, that's going to give us 3/10. And that's it, guys. This is your answer, 3 3/10. So we have to find 35% of 320. Now, super easy way to do percentages, always find 10%, because 10% literally means that you're finding the 1/10 of this value. So 1/10 of this value is going to be 320 divided by 10, and that should just be 32. Now, finding 35%, well, we could just try and find 30%. To find 30%, you can just times these values by 3. So times this by 3, you're going to get 30% equals 3 times 32 is 96. Now, that looks quite easy, doesn't it? Now, to get the extra 5%, well, going back to 10%, let's go ahead and half this number, yeah? So 5% is going to be half of 32, because 5% is half of 10, right? So half of 32 is 16. Now, lastly, to get 35%, well, just sum these up. So 96 plus 16, well, just doing it quickly on the side. 6 plus 6 is 12, so 2 carry the 1. 1 and 9 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So 35% of 320 is 112. All right, number 28. So here we got 8/9 minus 1/4. Now, just like the adding fraction, we need to make sure these have common denominators. So once again, we could just multiply this by 4 because this one's over 4. And we can multiply the second fraction by 9 because the first fraction is over 9. And doing so, this means that both fractions should be over 36 because 9 times 4 and 4 times 9 is 36. Now, dealing with the other two numbers, well, 4 times 8 should give us 32. And lastly, that's a 9, right? 9 times 1 is 9. Now, subtracting 32 and 9, doing so should give us 23 out of 36. You could leave that there. So the final answer would be 23 out of 36. Done. Okay, 29. So here they want us to find 51% of 900. So just like the other percentage question, we could either find 10%, but in this case, we can do it faster. We could find 50% because we should know what 50% means. This means half. So we're finding half of 900. Now, to find half of 900, the answer should be 450. If you're not sure how to do that, well, basically just halving is like dividing by 2. So we do 2 into 900. Okay, doing that should give you 450. Now you probably realize we just need one more percent. So to find 1%, that's also not too bad. You can also find 10% first, which means divide by 10, so you get 90. And finding 1%, you divide 10 again, which gives you 9. So finally, to get 51%, is going to be 450 plus 9, and that's 459. So here we need to work out 3,468 times 62. Now using the column method, I'm going to do what I did last time, and that is we just focus on one digit and just hide the other for now, yeah? So let's times all of these 4 digits by 2. What do we get? Well, first things first, we do 2 times 8, which gives us 16, so 6 carry the 1. Next one is 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so 3 carry the 1. Now here we got 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And lastly, 2 times 3 is 6. That's it. This first row is done. So when you complete the row, it's good to just take them off, yeah? So 2 is gone. Now, again, once we move to the next digit across, we're going to move to the next digit here. So this is going to be a gap. So we can just put like a 0 here, okay? Because we're not going to touch it. Now, let's start from 6, yeah? And multiply all these 4 digits by 6. What do we get? So 6 times 8, that should give us 48. So 8, and then carry the 4. Now just delete these and put 4 here. So next one will be 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 4 is 40. So 0, carry the 4. Next we have 6 times 4, which is what? 24. Add 4 is 28. 8, carry the 2. Finally, 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. Because there's nothing left, just write 20 here. Now, this is where the last bit is. So finally, we're just going to add up these numbers, yeah? So let's do it. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 8 is 11, so 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 0 is still 10, so 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So 5, carry the 1. And finally, guys, you got this. 1 plus nothing is 1. And just because there's a 2, the answer will just be a 2. So our final result should come up to be 215,016. Now, these are one of my favorite questions, especially when you do dividing or multiplying fractions. So 2 over 3 divided by 3. Now, first things first, when they stick in a whole number and a fraction like that, you should always rewrite this whole number as a fraction. So this is the same as saying 2 over 3 divided by 3 over 1. Now, to deal with this, we need to use something known as the KFC method, yeah? Now, this stands for keep, flip, change. If you guys are thinking Kentucky Fried Chicken, that would have been a good second guess. Now, what this actually means is that we need to keep the first fraction, flip this one so it becomes 1 over 3, and change the sign into a times. So now we got 2 over 3 times 1 over 3. And times in this is easy. You just times across. So 2 times 1 is 2. And 3 times 3 is 9. So the answer is literally 2 over 9. So in this question, we need to find 2 1/2 minus 3/4. So the difference between this question and the other ones is that we're now dealing with a mixed number and a normal fraction. So to subtract this safely, we need to always convert a mixed number into an improper fraction, yeah? Now to do that is a nice trick. All you simply do is say, all right, what's 2 times 2, which is 4. Add it to the top number is 5. So we're going to get 5 over 2. And of course, copy the rest of this. We need to once again have common denominators, yeah? So make the bottom the same. And to do that, well, we can realize that this fraction is out of 4. We can just simply double this fraction to make it out of 4 as well. So doubling it, in other words, timesing 2, the whole thing, yeah? We're now going to get 5 times 2, which is 10 over 4, minus, and then copy this one, 3 over 4. And 10 take away 3 is 7 over 4. So actually, this could be your final answer, yeah? But just in case you want to change to a mixed number, we ask ourselves, all right, how many times is 4 going to 7? Well, we know it goes exactly once, and you get a remainder of 3. And because out of 4, we say 1 3/4. So either this or this is a good answer. Okay, number 33. So here they want us to work out 36% off 450. So once again, this is another normal percentage question. So the way we should do this is always find 10%, yeah? And then work away to 36 later. So 10% of this number, well, just divide it by 10. In other words, cut out the 0 and you get 45. Now to get 30 and then 6%, well, we could find 30%, yeah? So to get 30%, just times by 3, because 10 times 3 is 30%. So that means 45 times 3. So let's try and work out here. So 45 times 3. We could use column method, or if you already know this, you could do, let's see, 4 times 3, which is 12. So in other words, 120, because 40 times 3 is 120. 5 times 3 is 15. Add this together, you get 135. Okay, or just stick to column. Now, to get the 6% bit, my advice is always find 1% first, yeah? Always deal the units from 1%. To get 1%, we start from 10%. To go to 1%, you divide by 10. So 45 divided by 10 is just 4.5. That means to get 6%, we need to times this result by 6. So we can do over here, 4.5 times 6, layers a nice column. Just put a decimal, get decimal ready here. So 5 times 6 is 30, so 0 carry the 3. And lastly, 4 times 6 is 24. Add it to 3. 24 plus 3 is 27. So the answer is 27.0, which is the same as just 27. So 6% is 27. Therefore, just making sure we got this clear, 30% was 135, 6% was 27. So add them up together. 135 plus 27. Add them up carefully. 5 plus 7 is 12, so 2 carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Drop the 1 down and you got 162. Okay, so for 34, there is a super quick way to do this, and there's also a super long way. Now, the long way to do this is to actually change this into a mixed number and then change this one to a fraction and then multiply. The super quick way, however, is to just naturally spot that 3/4 is basically 0.75, yeah? That's your 3/4. This means that 1 3/4 must be 1.75. And now we times that by 10. And times that by 10 is easy. You just move the decimal place from here to here, and it becomes 17.5. And that's it, guys. That's literally your answer. Now, how are we going to do number 35? Well, we could do what we've always done and just change this whole number to a fraction, right? Or we can do another fast way. We can actually ask ourselves, firstly, how many 6's go into 54? Just ignore the 0, yeah? Well, we know that there are 9 6's in 54. So we're left with now 5 times 9 and stick a 0, 90. Okay, so now we just do 5 times 90. Well, we know that 5 times 9 is 45. Because you got a 0, stick a 0. And that's it, guys. It's 450. And here we go, guys. The final big boss of the paper, number 36. And as tradition goes, it's always the long division. Okay, now you guys are probably thinking, how am I going to divide 8,051 by 83? Because that's going to take a while, I can't lie. Now, we can always use a couple tricks here, yeah? And let's have a look by doing it step by step. So first things first, how many times does 83 go into 8? Well, clearly nothing because it's way bigger. So let's carry 8 across. How many times does 83 go into 80 then? Well, again, it's nothing because 83 is still bigger. So here comes the main thing. Now, how many times 83 go into 805? All right, so you're probably thinking to yourself that, hold on, 83 times 10 must be 830, yeah? And we can kind of see that 805 is just a bit less. Kind of looks like it must go 9 times then, right? Well, it could be. So instead of you guys just counting up in 83s all the time, so 83, add another 83 is 166, add another 83 be 249, you could just kind of estimate. So let's go ahead and see what 83 times 9 is, yeah? To see if it actually goes into it. Well, doing it, 3 times 9 is 27, so 7 carry the 2. And lastly, 9 times 8 is 72, plus 4 is 74. So yes, you can kind of see that it's a bit less, but it works fine. Because if you did anything bigger, well, it'll be 830. So it's only this number, and the next one up is 830. So this means it must go 9 times with using a number 747. So here we're going to use long division, guys, yeah? Now, to deal with this, all you do now is subtract this column. So 5 take away 7 you can't do. You can't borrow here, so we borrow from the 8, becomes a 7, carry the 1. Borrow from the 10, becomes a 9, carry the 1. So now we've got 15 take away 7, which is 8. 9 take away 4 is 5, and 7 take away 7 is nothing, so leave it blank. Now, as long division says, we pull the next number down, so this becomes 581. Now we need to ask ourselves, how many times does 83 go into 581? So in this case, you can kind of guess, or you know what, let's keep on adding 83 down, yeah? So if you add another 83, well, you can kind of see a pattern. You got 8, 16, 24. However, this 9 becomes a 12, yeah? So it'll be 2 and then carry the 1. Add 80 to this, you're going to get 32 plus 1, 33. Now add another 83, you're going to get 415. And add another 83. Let's see, it becomes 8 here. Add 8, it becomes 9. And then still 498. And then if you add another 83, you should get exactly 581. That's it, guys. Then you count up how many there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes in 7 times. So your final result should be 97. And that's it, guys. I mean, I hope this video helped. And you got the last question right. There is loads of ways to do it, but I guess at the end of the day, the safest method is always keep on adding 83 across until you get all the numbers. Or you can kind of just look at this and sort of estimate how much you think it could be. But yeah, guys, other than that, I hope your day is well, and I shall see you guys next time. Ciao.